The United States is sending an advanced missile defense system to Israel along with about 100 American troops who will operate it. This was revealed by the Pentagon in an official announcement over the weekend. It is the first deployment of U.S. forces to Israel since the Hamas attacks on the 7th of October 2023. President Joe Biden has directed his Defense Secretary Lloyd J to deploy the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System, or THAAD, and its crew. The move will put American troops operating the ground-based interceptor, which is designed to defend against ballistic missiles. It comes after Iran launched about 200 missiles at Israel on the 1st of October, and now Israel is planning its retaliatory attack. So on Crux Decode, what is the significance of deploying the THAAD in Israel at this juncture? How will this help Israel protect itself against any possible Iranian ballistic missile attack like we saw 2 weeks ago? How will the deployment of the THAAD be seen in Tehran? Will Iran view this as an escalatory measure? So far, America has only offered moral support and a show of strength in Israel's multiple-front war against Hamas, Hezbollah, and now increasingly Iran. With the deployment of THAAD and U.S. troops who will operate it, how does the dynamic in what is an already volatile region change? The THAAD battery, which is a mobile defense system, will give the Israel Defense Forces another layer of protection to defend their cities, their troops, and their installations from both short and intermediate-range ballistic missiles. 2 weeks ago, Iran had deployed close to 200 intermediate missiles which attacked Israeli cities like Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Though the damage from that attack was minimal, it signaled Iran's capability to directly hit Israel if it so chose to. Biden said that he had only ordered the Pentagon to deploy the system simply to defend Israel. It was not to be seen as an aggressive move rather than a defensive one. General Patrick Ryder of the Pentagon said in his statement that the battery would augment Israel's integrated air defense system. This action, according to him, underscores America's ironclad commitment to the defense of Israel and to defend those Americans who are in Israel from any further ballistic missile attacks by Iran. It is also part of the broader adjustments that the U.S. military is making in recent weeks to support the defense of Israel, as well as protecting Americans from attacks by Iran. A senior U.S. military official said on Sunday it would take at least a week to get the new THAAD system with the necessary troops out into Israel. While the THAAD system represents the first U.S. troop deployment to Israel since the war in Gaza began, the U.S. military was involved there from time to time. For example, back in the month of May, they did help build a temporary pier off the coast of Gaza back in May. That pier was meant to transport humanitarian aid into and out of Gaza. That pier was dismantled in July after weeks of damage from rough seas. And late last month, the Pentagon said that they would be sending a few thousand more American troops to the Middle East as Israel intensified its attacks on Hezbollah. Though there were no official figures, one general at the Pentagon put the figure between 2,000 and 3,000 American troops. The United States has also sent a THAAD battery along with other air defense systems to the region weeks after the attacks on October 7, 2023. The decision announced Sunday by the Pentagon comes even as senior officials in the U.S. Defense Department have been debating whether increased American military presence in the region is actually helping contain this war, as they were hoping it would, or whether it is actually further inflaming this war. Several Pentagon officials have expressed concern in recent weeks that Israel has been waging an increasingly aggressive campaign against the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, which is Iran's most powerful proxy. Israel is doing so knowing fully well that an armada of American warships and dozens of attack planes are ready to help blunt any response from Iran. On Saturday, Lloyd J also spoke with Yoav Gallant, the Israeli defense minister, and expressed his deep concern about reports that Israeli forces had fired on UN peacekeeping positions in Lebanon. Israel has been coming under increasing scrutiny and criticism after it was revealed last week that it mistakenly hit UN peacekeeping forces. In fact, more than 24 countries voted against Israel's aggression on these peacekeepers. On Sunday morning, the Israeli military said its jets had hit around 200 Hezbollah targets in Lebanon over the past 24 hours. President Biden has already announced a few weeks ago, at the start of the Israeli campaign against Hezbollah, that he's sending a few more thousand troops to the Middle East. This even as tensions rise amid Israel's intensified attacks against Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. Defense Department officials say the additional forces would bolster security for the 40,000 US troops who are already in the region. The Pentagon declined to say exactly how many more troops were being deployed, but one official put that number at between 2,000 and 3,000. The 40,000 American troops who are already in the Middle East are stationed at various bases in Iraq, Syria, Yemen, and other countries. The USS Abraham Lincoln is in the Gulf of Oman. It's on an extended deployment in the region, the aircraft carrier. And then there's a second aircraft carrier, the USS Harry Truman, which will soon join the choppy waters of this volatile region. The Truman is going to be there as part of a regularly scheduled deployment. In the last 12 months since the Hamas attack on Israel, launching a conflict that includes Yemen, Iran, and Lebanon, the Pentagon has sent a bristling array of weaponry to the region. It has sent aircraft carriers, guided missile destroyers, amphibious assault ships, and of course, fighter jet squadrons. The THAAD is designed to intercept short, medium, and intermediate range ballistic missiles and provide a robust defense against any Iranian threat to Israel. The deployment of the THAAD would also enhance Israel's already sophisticated missile defense architecture, which includes systems like the Iron Dome and David Sling. One of the criticisms against the Iron Dome in the previous Iranian attack 2 weeks ago against Israel was that the Iron Dome did not sufficiently stop some of those missiles that were launched by Iran. The deployment signals a strong American commitment to Israel's security amidst rising tensions with Tehran. By bolstering Israel's missile defense capabilities, the United States is hoping to deter Iranian aggression and also reassure its ally Israel full support in the face of a potential escalatory conflict between Israel and Iran. THAAD can intercept missiles at altitudes between 100 and 150 kilometers. It utilizes a kinetic impact approach, which is hit to kill, to try and destroy targets without explosive warheads. The system can engage targets at ranges of up to 200 kilometers and features missiles that travel at speeds above Mach 8, making it highly effective against any fast-moving threat. The THAAD also employs the ANTPY-2 radar, which provides a wider field of view. It can detect threats from distances between 1,000 to 2,000 kilometers. Now, this capability will allow for early detection and tracking of incoming missiles. This will come in handy as there is a significant distance of close to 2,000 kilometers between Tel Aviv and Tehran. But more than the actual air defense system, it is the symbolism that's associated with the missile defense system and the troops that will manage that system that America is sending out not just to Israel or to Iran, but to the wider region, that A, it expects an escalatory conflict between Tehran and Tel Aviv. If and when that happens, then it is a signal to Tehran that America is standing shoulder to shoulder with its perhaps only ally in the Middle East.